We are live.
Hey
All
Akash.
right.
Hi Tarun. All yours, Roshni.
Okay. All right. So, hello and welcome to the 100th Friday event. Fills me with great pride uh, to say that as of today, we are 100 events strong. This community has gathered here every Friday, week after week, to improve our understanding of design. Along the way, we've covered so much from building a rockstar portfolio to learning ways to build user trust, from ideation practice to learning how to pitch those ideas, from handling errors to handling workplace conflicts to handling business stakeholders. This list is quite literally 100 lessons long. But today is more than just a celebration of numbers. It's a celebration of the countless stories that we unfolded within this community. Stories of career achievement, of finding support, of finding friends, and of experiencing growth in our day to day work. As we reflect on the milestones we've achieved, let me also tell you we're just getting started. And we have some exciting news to share at the end that'll prove this to you. So stay tuned. With that said, I'd like to invite Prasad to take over.
All right. So uh, I'm not sure what you want me to kind of say, but I think the one thing that I do want to do is at least I want to acknowledge all the people who've succeeded, and I not just from their names, from them, but from other people. Right. So I know Roshni has a plan for that. So why don't you do that, Roshni? And after that, I'm going to share my plans or our plans for what we are doing going forward.
All right. All right. So, the first thing we have in the lineup today is I'd like to introduce our speakers from the community as they share their stories of what created an impact for them, what helped them grow. And to begin that, we have Bhaskar. I know he barely needs to be introduced as he's one of the most well known people within the community. He joined the first intensive batch at college, and ever since, he has continuously pushed boundaries of his own growth. In addition to his role as a mentor, Bhaskar plays a pivotal role in shaping strategic planning of experiences at his workplace, Pegasystems. His insights have made him a go to person for members seeking help, and today he's going to share what shaped this growth trajectory. So, all yours, Bhaskar.
Thank you, Roshni. Hi, everyone. So, uh, I would just talk about like what was that like little stepping back of the college journey. So my college journey didn't start officially when it was there. It's actually way beyond that. This is the time when I started upskilling myself as a UX designer and I started my career. So that's where I started going to different workshops and all, which is where I think I first met Prasad sir in Microsoft event. And eventually I went to the second workshop, which is Tech Mahindra. There I learned an interesting framework of how to approach a problem. And that framework I have applied in my exam, master's exam for NID, which is where I cracked that exam. So that was the first kind of application of college, what I learned from college. And that's where that was the starting point, and that's where I actually joined the intensive without any further thing. But then eventually after that thing, I think this is one of the most important thing which actually why people reach out to me is about how to create a compelling portfolio. There are so many people who reached out. And now I want to talk about like my first journey when I started my portfolio building, and that was where the first event which really helped me is that how to communicate your portfolio like a rock star kind of thing. So there I realized one realization which came up is it's not just the design component, it's about how you talk about that thing will really make a difference, and how you streamline that whole storytelling is one component which really helped me in crafting that portfolio. And eventually there were a few blockers where I was to communicate uh, a complex topic, which is where I reached out to Saurabh on how to actually communicate that in that complex topic. I envisioned it to be like a journey map, but then I learned from Saurabh is what a concept map, and how, because concept map really focuses on what the problem is, and it tries to help frame that story in a way that it looks complex but it's easy to understand for the other people who is actually consuming that portfolio. So that's the second thing where I learned from this community from Saurabh. And eventually when I was practicing my pitch with different people, I reached out to so many people in our community, and one member who gave like a really interesting feedback, or which stuck to my mind, is Madhusudan. So he actually pointed out one component of my whole portfolio, which is like comparison between the flows which I solved in my project and using workflows. And he interestingly told one thing, so that I hope everyone watched Bahubali movie, right? So if we actually anchor back to I think it's the interval scene of part one, where we showcase where the director actually showcases the villain as a small statue and the hero as the bigger statue at the back, where that is a elevation scene of that interval bang of the part one. So he actually compared this kind of my slide of workflow comparison to it, which really validated like what story I was communicating and where it was heading towards. That was the first validation which I really remember then. And eventually, when also got my job, and then I was still looking at where can I find these kind of interesting storytelling components. That's where uh, the third event, which is Puckstock by Satyam sir, where he showed the transformational journey of this company, and it actually resonated me and helped me validated that okay, this is what actually storytelling is. Because there were so many things which I learned on my own, like I need to put this kind of thing somewhere in my storyline. So I have done few courses about film narration and screenwriting, script writing, which eventually helped. And that's where I realized that all those learnings actually helped me um, create that kind of portfolio and get a job, as well as also validated this is kind of storytelling which works in UX industry. That's my three kind of stories which I could talk about in my whole journey of this 100 things.
All right. Thank you so much, Bhaskar, for the inputs. I believe your insights on building your portfolio have been instrumental for many members in the community. Our next speaker, and who's also a mentor, is Simran. Simran joined us in the third intensive batch. He comes from a background of graphics and motion design. Currently, he's serving as a product designer at Zoho. He's quite passionate about nurturing growth in others. In addition to his role as a mentor at college, he's also at present collaborating with us to create courses. Beyond that, he's also instrumental in running a study group that meets every Saturday. And with that, I'd like to invite you to take over, Simran.
Um, hey Roshni. So yeah, what do you want me to say?
So, what has been your impact story? What
Oh,
helped you grow?
okay. Sorry. So for me, the biggest impact was one of our recent events where Prasad had an ideation session. And even though I've mentored people and my constant advice is focus on the problem and stuff, the minute we were put under pressure, all the experience and the wisdom that I had just got flushed down the toilet, and I was as vulnerable as anyone else because we were under pressure. And I went and jumped straight ahead to the solution. And that's when we came out of our breakout rooms and Prasad had our interaction and he saw a solution. The first question he asked was something about having a moderator. And with that itself, I knew, okay, I screwed up, I screwed up, I screwed up. And I knew that this is going to be where he's going to say, yes, you missed out the problem. And that's exactly what happened. And that was a pretty interesting learning for me because the point of that entire exercise is how do you deal with deal with situations under constraints? Where does your knowledge go there? And the importance of knowledge transforming into wisdom was the takeaway that I had from this. And another ideation session we had recently was where Prasad had given us a little tip saying select a moderator. So we went ahead and did that. We selected a moderator. The moderator moderated the entire thing. We got some ideas and stuff. And then when we came out of our breakout rooms, we messed up again because Prasad's insight that I got from there was, did the moderator allot time? Did he break up time? That we had 20 minutes or 10 minutes in the breakout room. Did he break out time as to what we would do for the first few minutes, the next few minutes? Like how many chunks of time did we have? And this really stuck with me because I've started applying this in tasks that I get heavy constraints for. So if I have to do something within like 2 or 3 hours, the need to prioritize starts becoming a huge thing. So I start dividing my time and then trying to be efficient that way. So these kind of lessons has helped me personally in my personal life as well as my professional life. So thank you, Prasad, for those lovely lessons, pearls of wisdom.
Always happy.
All right. Thank you so much, Simran, for that. Uh, I do see that happening. Every ideation session is a lesson on how to deal with pressure effectively. Uh, with that said, we next have Shiva, uh, who was part of the first intensive program, and he comes from a background of visual design. He joined the community back in December 2020. They say dedication and hard work take you a long way. And in Shiva's case, it led him to Lollipop Design Studios, where he's currently the associate lead UI designer. I'm told he had a reputation for being the quiet one in his batch, and it's been a journey of growth since then. Tell us your story. What made an impact? What helped you grow, Shiva?
So thanks for the quick introduction, Roshni. So my journey with college started from when we had Rockstar UX Designer Challenge. So it was the session. It was like an eye opener for me. When I joined this session, I understood what industry is expecting, like what companies are expecting from the designers, and what a UX designer does. And I realized the importance of initial fundamental training to grow as a designer. So then after that, I decided to join one of the initial programs, which is Kickstarter program. And then later I continued with intensive program. I think it was my career changing decision, which helped me to grow as a designer I am today. And later, I think which is one of the important decision. And otherwise, I can't even imagine. I think it would have taken another 5 or 10 years if I didn't take that decision. Without college training, I cannot even imagine my career. And one of the most important thing I learned is during one of the initial college freelance Fridays, where I presented my portfolio. I think that time I presented my website, but it didn't go well. I was not thorough enough in terms of communication. And then Prasad sir told me to take another chance and present the design once again. Though I couldn't do it. Then in the end of the session, he demonstrated how he would do it with the same website that I presented. So he literally blew my mind the way he presented. Then I literally understood because my approach was I was presenting in terms of visuals rather than communicating the value of the design. So that was the time I literally learned how to approach a presentation, and I continued attending all the freelance Friday sessions along with the intensive program. And then we were almost about to finish our intensive program, and then I was looking for a change and I'm looking for opportunities. I think one day, I think Bhaskar, who is my buddy during the program, and he applied for Lollipop through an online. They have posted that they are conducting a hiring drive in Hyderabad. So that time I think Bhaskar about to go for the interview the other day, and he told me to tag along, but I was not sure if I can go because I haven't applied for it. But we don't have time, and somehow he convinced me, and we both went. Uh, though even I was not confident enough because I don't have a solid real-time portfolio because before college. All I have is only college assignments in my hand. I took all of those and we went there. We talked to the recruiters and I showed what I all have worked on the assignments during the college program, starting from research, interaction design, and visual. I presented all of them and how we did it and the entire process throughout all the projects. And they were really impressed with the entire uh, thing, like the depth of the training throughout the college program. And then they gave me a design task. They gave me 3 days. I finished the task and then I presented to the team over a call, online call, and the two went well and they really liked the way I approached the design task, starting from the research and interaction design and till even though it was meant for a senior UI designer task, I did the entire process so that they really liked. So then they gave me an offer for a senior UI role, and then it continued like even in the later I got appreciation from my clients, the leaders and my colleagues. And then after 1.5 years I got promoted as associate UI lead for Hyderabad studio. And now I'm almost completing 2 years in Lollipop. So over the years I think college played a pivotal role in my growth and success. Think that was my whole journey. College literally, I think I will always be thankful to my mentors, Prasad, Saurav, and Shravani, and my peers, Bhaskar and Mohan, and all. So that was my whole journey.
All right. Thank you so much for sharing your story, Shiva. It's truly inspiring to see how you've grown and what you've accomplished. Um, so next we have Achyuth. Um, Achyuth recently transitioned into UX. When I say recent, I mean like about a year ago. Uh, and before that, he used to work as a full-time yoga teacher, a passion he still practices to this day. And in the last 1 year, he's achieved multiple milestones in his career. He was part of the Portfolio Builder series, through which he found his first internship at DevForce. He was so good at his work that his 3 month internship was cut short to 1 month, and he was immediately offered a full time role. Later, he was quickly promoted to handle bigger responsibilities, and currently he's switched to his second job with a substantial hike and higher flexibility. So, Achyut, what has been, what has impacted you? What has helped you grow?
Right, Roshni, thank you so much for the introduction. Or else, if somebody asks me to talk about what are you getting or what have you got out of college, you really don't know what's the beginning and ending. So I get quite lost with that. But so it so happened that it's 1 year of my, or I would say somewhere around 8 months of my association that it has started with college. And as you have pointed out, I could immediately get a job as an intern and then going ahead. So as the sessions were going on, every session had like diamonds coming out. I didn't know, like, I was so excited to start learning. And it so happened. So particularly, I want to pin down to a few sessions. Like one session was prioritizing UX problems using heuristic principles. So that was one session where a certain thing started getting embedded in me, like it found a permanent mark in me. And after that, this was something that has been happening every time, again and again, usually in all the ideation sessions also. So it's so used to happen that, Prasad sir, at times Saurabh, and all the other mentors also, when we were being given tasks, so there was a very high emphasis about being with the problem, understanding the problem, recognizing whether it is a problem or a symptom. And I also used to see on the decks that we used to have for our sessions, few areas in that problem statement would always be bold. So I started noticing this, and then I understood what it means to understand when we get a problem statement, not to run for a solution, and kind of, spend time with it, understand whether it is a problem or a symptom. Because, for an example, somebody might be having trouble sleeping every night. They might not be able to go back to bed very easily. So immediately, if we look at that as a problem, something that strikes our mind would be taking a sleeping pill or something like that. But when we look down into it, why are we not able to sleep? That is going at the root of the thing. Probably maybe there is not enough physical exhaustion for the body to go to a state of rest or something like that. This is just an example, but this is how that I have been seeing. So, like these, what happened recently, if I recollect back 2.5, 3 weeks ago, I seem to know a person who's a founder of a learning management solution product at Binder. So what happened? He has approached to me for a freelance work. So what happened was, I really didn't know whether I had to take it or not, because currently I'm involved with a lot of things with college also, which I'm really blessed for. So what happened is, I thought I'll just have a connect with him, understand what is the requirement exactly, and then see if I can really commit the time. So after I got on call with him, I really wanted to ask, what is it? Okay, what are we trying to do? What is the problem here? Why is this a problem? And the conversation followed. Out of no expectation, suddenly from nowhere, my current boss, supposed to be, he asked me, can you work full time for me? My entire mind paused for a moment. I didn't know. I was like, what is this? This is like freelance or something. Then I was like, then he immediately said, okay, see, whatever you're doing right now, I can give you a minimum 100% hike from where you are. And then I was still thinking, because that was a shocker for me. No interview, nothing was happening. And then I asked, anything more you want to assess me? And he was like, no, you just let me know whether you would do. Okay, let's do it 115. That's the kind of conversation we had. And he was like, if I have somebody who's able to think of a problem like this, they will develop skill later. I can manage with that. And I'm sure from my experience with you, your delivery is in timeline. So that is what he was really looking for. And he asked me from where am I learning and all. I gave him a small summary of what I'm doing currently and everything. He told he will promise me that he's going to have me the time to keep going with my study here. And that's been like just one thing that has really turned my tables like in a different way altogether. And quite a lot of things, Roshni. We also have at times, Prasad sir, 2 to 3 times, he has stressed on 4 resources that every designer must know, in that way, in such a way that even if we are woken up from sleep, if asked something from those 4, you should be able to say it. Then a few of us, we thought we will kind of create a study group and start working on that. And the kind of people that I have formed a bond with, like Jasmine, Ajay, Venus, Vishnu, and my favorite mentor, Simran, for the most surprising part. So from now on, what I'm going to say is not really related to the college events, but what other things that have contributed to me in my life and career is that my mentor being wherever he is, he's ready to be with us in learning the basics again, where he finds joy in looking at us learning. And then what happens at these times is he also pushes us to think much further than where it is right now. And with other mates, whenever I'm going little down, there are friends who will call me up. There were times where Ajay used to call me up and wake up and say that we got to do this. This is very small nudges keep you going, especially for me at this point where I have started my career. this is a kind of a support system that I really don't know where else I'm going to get. So if I go like this, there's a lot and lot and lot. And what I would say is, I don't know if I can suggest this, but there are moments in Friday events where Prasad sir points out at a few things, like in the recent event. So was telling about an interesting dynamic that happens in a split second of a time, but a lot misses when you pick up those and go implement it there. The very way people are going to see you, and the impression that you make, there's a lot. I'm excited to see what is ahead. But thanks for the opportunity. I would really like to thank every member of college, Prasad sir, and I'm sorry it cannot go unmentioned, Rajiv. There have been times I used to message Rajiv for any decision making at times. There has never been a time where after I message him on WhatsApp, not more than 10 seconds, I get a call from him. So these kind of things, keep me going forward, that a confidence that I always have a support system, both subject wise and developing as a person itself. So thank you so much. Thank you so much for everyone here. That's about that.
Thank you so much, Achyuth. We are rooting for you to continue your streak of career milestones.
Thank you, Roshni.
So you got a new job. You're in a new job now.
Yes, sir. I was about to inform you, but things have happened so fast. I'm sitting here with 115% hike. So that's
Congratulations.
115% hike plus a promise that if anything backfires, he'll get 1 year salary sent to him. That's the icing on the cake.
Wow. My advice is don't focus on the numbers. The numbers after a while will be like
Yes, sir.
side business.
Yes, really.
So it's great to feel good about it, that somebody values that, but don't worry about it. It's like, let it go.
I totally understand, sir. So this is a check mark for me to lay low.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Awesome.
Thank you.
So I
All right.
would
Yeah,
actually, I know I would want to invite Professor Shrinivas, because he's been with us for a while. And I don't know if he's here. I see his name. But
Yeah, I'm here.
And
Can you
what
see
is
me, brother?
interesting is he was the head of department for at NID in Roorkee, right? Is that Roorkee or no?
Kurukshetra. It's a Kurukshetra.
Kurukshetra. He was the head of design at NID Kurukshetra. Now he's just moved into a new role where he's the head of a design, and I let him kind of decide whether he wants to share or not. But it's a pretty big university that pretty much a lot of you have heard of. But again, he's been associated with us since our UX Reactor days. So he actually came to UX Reactor, spent a month with us to understand how we train and what we do, our internal talent. And so, and he's been seeing the college community evolve as well. So I would love to hear your thoughts, Professor Shrinivas. And I'd love to hear your insights as well.
Thank you so much, Prasad. Actually, I'm really, really honored to be over here. Though I feel that I teach students in my college, but when I see Prasad, I feel myself as a student, and that's what changed my life. I can put it in a literal words, actually. And as Prasad was saying that, when I first talked to Prasad, he was completely focusing on students growth, and students growth in the field of UX design. So that made me really, really impressed with the personality he is having, actually. And as he mentioned that I was with him since the inception of the UXR, I mean the college, sorry to say that, but UXR was a little bit older than that. But when I joined my college team, I started to learn a lot of things. First, when I interacted with Prasad, like a student, I started to uh, request him to allow me to be in the interaction design classes. But when he saw my profile and my portfolio, he suggested me that you are you are a visual guy. You are a core graphic designer, advertising designer. Though, so you need to take a route which is closer to your heart, and that made me really understand what he's trying to tell me. because I was trying to push myself into interaction design or UX design fundamentals, but he was trying me. He was trying me to convince to move into the domain of visual design, and that's where I started to think about visual design first, and then take the route towards interaction design, or you can say the core UX fundamentals. After that, we did the association with the students. I pitched in with college community to our university. I made the lectures going on with our students, and fortunately, at least we can say 10 students got really developed themselves in the field of UX design, and everybody is working fabulously right now. So I feel that UXR and the college community is not just a community; it is a catalyst in the UX domain, and it is the catalytic agent for the students, so that they can grow and work for this particular domain fearlessly. What I can say. And sorry to uh, don't bother where I'm sitting. I'm waiting for my bus, but still I'm joining this particular conversation. And thanks to Prasad. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Shrinivas, sir. I mean, this means a lot to us.
Yes, sir.
And I think, it's fascinating. It's, one of the things I say is you learn, the more you know you don't know.
Yeah, of course.
And so the person who knows is actually humble. The person who does not know is arrogant. And so Srinivas sir, even though he was running his department and other, he said, still, there are things that I don't know. And he was gracious enough to say, I don't know, and he joined. And he's also very gracious, even though he knows so much within his subject, he's gracious enough to say, I don't know this stuff and I've learned from Prasad. So I really appreciate you saying that, Professor Srinivas.
And
And
I still remember your one quote when I was attending your lectures live. You said that you will be hired for your skills, but you will be fired for your attitude. So I really appreciate that your quote means, I don't know if it's your quote or somebody else's, but it is from your mouth I heard, and that changed my life so much. And in my every class, I tell my students, do not become arrogant, do not change your attitude, be humble, be hungry for the knowledge, and that's what it will take you to the next level. Thanks to all of your efforts, Prasad. Thanks.
thank you, Professor Srinivas.
Yeah.
So, Roshni, can we start the presentation? Because I really want to talk about some of the things that we are planning for. And,
Yes.
yeah. And I want all of us to kind of get into the goal of what we want to achieve. And interestingly enough, if you notice, all of our mentors are not people that are from outside. They're people that we have trained, right? And the last probably 2 years that we've actually trained almost a few hundred people. And out of those few hundred people, what I say is my goal is not to teach, right? My goal is to identify the diamonds in the rough. Right? Because the intention is if somebody is not interested and I try to teach them, it does not make any difference for them. Right? However, if I find a diamond in the rough, the diamond's natural tendency is to do what it does best, right? And that's what you want to take and you shine it up, make it like, package it in a way, but the original talent within the diamond is still there. The interest, the motivation, the drive, it's all there, right? And you're simply giving it the knowledge and then you're accelerating the career. And that's what my goal is not to teach design to 1 million people. Our goal is to get people to become design leaders, right? In 5 to 10 years from now, how many leaders, design leaders are going to come out of the college ecosystem? That was the intention that we started with 2 years ago. And so what we've been doing for the 2 years when we run all these intensive programs, our intention is to identify those diamonds in the rough and identify people that we can drive. So it's where our interesting concept is like, when you look at the 4 mentors that are there, that's what the intention is. So out of like 200 odd people, we selected 4 people to be the next generation mentors, right? And all these mentors are also being mentored because their career also keeps moving forward. So go ahead, Roshni, if you can start the presentation, that'd be great. So we can very quickly go through this. Let's go on to the next slide, please. Yeah, let's go on to the next slide. We can talk about this after. We can do the wall of gratitude after, but let's go on to the next one. Right. Let's go on to the next one. So what we have been trying to do is at every point in time, we've been trying to figure out how we can help our members, right? Now, originally, when I started the program, the challenge was that I wanted people to learn world-class UX. But then over the last 2 years, I've realized that people are at different stages in their life. If somebody is looking for a job and I'm going to say you spend this much time learning UX, they're not in the state of mind to listen to you. Right? Or if somebody is saying, listen, I'm going to be fired tomorrow, but I have to take a course that will like in a year make me awesome. No, that's not going to help you grow in your career. Right? Because right now you're afraid that you're not going to keep your job. So what we realized within the community is people reach out to us for 3 or 4 reasons most of the time. Right? And usually we are the first group of people that people talk, whether you're present in this Friday event or not. There are, of all the members that are, people usually call us one when they get a job interview. Okay. They say, I got this interview. Tell me how to prepare for it. That's the first thing. And again, when I say us, I mean me, Saurabh, the mentors, the larger community, everybody, the calls are usually in those order. I got an interview. How do I prepare for it? The second one is, how do I prepare my portfolio? Okay. Third one is, I got a task. Now, how do I solve this task? Help us. And by the way, just we don't give answers. We just give ideas. This is the way you want to explore. And then we leave it at that. Because ultimately, if we help the individual with a task and they get the job, but they don't have that ability, they're going to get fired very quickly. So our intention is that you use your talent, whatever you know, but we'll give you ideas, you go execute it. So that's where the interview tasks come in. And they'll also call us when some happy news happens. If they got promoted or they're growing or whatever, these are the calls that we get. And so what we've realized, the first thing we want to do is, and right now, a lot of people are asking about, I got interviews and Bhaskar gets a lot of calls, Simran gets a lot of calls. So I think the challenge everybody has is I'm interviewing, I have this task, help me with this. And so what we are going to do is we are going to basically create a task bank going forward. So if you are interviewing, okay, you've been given a task, share it within the community, share it with us, okay? Roshni will share a link or just send out an email to Roshni or Bhaskar or Simran or Rajiv or anybody of us, because all the messages will get collected. But say that this is the task you've got, this is what it is, right? And so if you want some help, somebody can get on the call and give you ideas. We won't solve the problem for you. Think about it this way. Think about it. This is the process you need to do. We can be your support system. Okay. So that is the first step. And all these questions get collected. So within the community, all of us can read it and you can practice your skills as well. Okay. That's the first thing we are going to do going from here onwards. Okay. The second thing that we are going to do is we are not just going to look at the task bank, but all of us, the mentors and the instructors. Okay, there you go. So we got Simran's email. So Simran is volunteering to be the collector for all these tasks. So go ahead and send it to him. Okay. So the second thing we're going to do is we are all going to be sitting together and creating a solution bank. Okay, which is how should you solve these tasks? So what we would do initially is maybe once or twice a month, we will take a task that is very representative. We will solve it. We will share it with all of you guys. Okay. And hey guys, can you turn on your cameras? Because it's like, I really like seeing people's faces. And, if you have a question or a doubt, I know I can help you guys. If you don't turn on your cameras, I don't know how to help you. Cool. So this is where we are going to look at the solution. So every week, once or twice a month, we will initially start, but ultimately the goal is we will solve one problem every week and then we'll put it out for you. So you know exactly how to approach your interviews. Okay. So this is something, and again, this doesn't succeed until you give us the problems. If you don't give us interesting problems, we can't solve them. And so the body of knowledge doesn't grow. Okay. So, and even if you've heard from your friends, this is the task I got, share it. Okay. Your friends or wherever. So you are building this library for yourself. Now let's go on to the next slide. Now, this is coming back to the core of why I do what I do, or why we all do, like even Saurabh, right? In fact, I asked Saurabh this when I was hiring him at UX Reactor, and I told him, like, okay, and Saurabh said, I want to do teaching, I want to do non-profit, and so I don't know if working in the corporate world is enough for me, right? I don't want to work in your corporate environment. But what is interesting is, I kind of shared my journey and we realized that we have a similar motivation. And what is interesting here is, when I was young, I went to Orissa, Bhubaneswar. Near there's a place called the Konark Sun Temple. Okay, it's probably about 10 years old. I went to the temple and I see this wheel. And this is the wheel that you see on the Indian flag. Okay. And when I saw this wheel, what was interesting and fascinating for me was, the guy, the tour guide was telling me, I can tell you what time it is based on looking at the wheel. Okay. And he taught me how to tell the time by looking at the wheel based on where the shadow was. And this was like a hundreds of years old temple where they didn't have CAD, CAM, they didn't have anything. But somebody actually created that concept, thought of that idea, and created a temple that was so like relevant even today, right? And what was interesting was, even though the temple was completely blocked off, just by looking at the outside, you could learn something. And that's what I realized was, we all have this innate ability, this vision, this creative energy that has somehow we have forgotten about it. And my goal, at least through everything that we do here, right, and everything we are going to do forward, is how do we get this vision back, right? How do we get this ability back? How do we become a design powerhouse? Right? And the design powerhouse is very simple. How did India become a coding engine? Few people did really well. Their careers went really well, and they succeeded so well that everybody else wanted to become a software developer. The argument is the same. Design is just exactly the same. In fact, designers get paid more. Competent designers get paid more than engineers. Today, at least as far as AI is coming, you can automate the engineering to a large extent, but design, critical thinking and design thinking are things that cannot go away. So let's go on to the next slide. So this is our vision, is how do we rediscover that vision and artistry? And in order to do that, my goal is, how many people can I make design leaders, right? Or I shouldn't say my goal, it's our goal within the community. That is the vision here, right? Let's go on to the next slide. So one of the first things that we did, and again, our intention is, if you want to do this, diamonds can come anywhere. Right? People may have money, people may not have money. People may have time, may not have time. May have opportunity, may not have opportunity. So the first level is make everything free, right? You don't have time. You don't even know what design is. You're not aware of it. We've actually put up this YouTube channel and we are looking at this. We've put articles, all of my trainings, right, to the high level. They're all available on Medium. And what is fascinating and interesting is we've got almost on YouTube, just been about a year since we launched it, slightly more than a year. We got about 116,000 views on YouTube. The other thing is we put all our stuff on Medium as well. We got 25,000 views on Medium and almost about 10,000 reads from around the world. And this is the first place where we say that anybody that comes, this is, you don't get distracted by other people saying this is what UX is. I teach you Figma and I'll teach you UX. No, That is not the truth, right? And Saurabh has got amazing classes, and we're going to have, Simran going to be putting up classes, Bhaskar is going to be putting up classes, but the intention there is that if money should not be a factor for you not to learn, right? If you're motivated and you're interested, you have the content. And in fact, for Achyuth, a lot of learnings he did was from YouTube itself, right? It wasn't like from the classes. And so that is something that we are basically saying education should be accessible everywhere. Let's go to the next slide. This is the second stuff that we are doing. Now, what is interesting is, and by the way, the number of countries has gone up to 97. So I like to think of it as at least one person in 97 countries knows us, right? Which is interesting, which is amazing. So what we have done is we basically started putting all of the basic trainings, right? And ultimately the goal is no one module should cost more than $5,000 to $6,000 rupees, right? Again, if you are motivated and you've seen the YouTube videos, you still want to kind of learn a little bit more, this is where you're coming in for Udemy and you're watching these classes. And again, we've set up the structure in a clean way. There's the 5 concepts you need to learn. Each of the concepts, a topic is available, so you can literally go there and learn, right? And money should never be a factor for anybody that wants to learn. And that's when, in addition, what we are also going to be doing is once a month, I will be running classes there to clarify any doubts for any of the students that are in this Udemy program and to help them move forward. So that is where we are as far as Udemy is concerned. And Saurabh is leading it. And over the next 3 or 4 months, all of these courses are going to go live. And they're going to be accessible for anybody that wants to learn anywhere in the world. Now, let's go on to the next slide. And this is an important thing that I also want to say. Let's go back. Now, this is an important thing I also want to say is, why do I say anywhere in the world? I mean, clearly, I have a strong bias towards India, but why do I say anywhere in the world? The intention is genius comes from everywhere, right? So if you're playing with the smartest people around the world, you also learn to play world-class game. Okay? It's like IPL, or like, as long as the Indian cricket team was insular within itself and they were like, we are only playing with ourselves, we are not going to be world class. When we start playing with players around the world, the best around the world, we also get really good. And that's what the game is. And of course, the other players get really good too, but that's okay. I mean, that's what the idea is. Like, genius comes everywhere. And our intention is to make it a global game rather than a local game. Okay. Now, let's go on to the next slide. Now, this is the other aspect that we saw. So for Udemy, people can learn. That's great. Now, at some point, people will struggle at Udemy. Some of the people will struggle. They'll say, listen, I really want to practice. I don't have an opportunity to practice. And this is where the community-based practice program comes into play, right? Where all of the mentors, and this is interesting, which is Vaishali and Varun and Simran and Bhaskar, they've all, for me, the intention is I don't want people with 10 different philosophies teaching 10 different things to students. There's one philosophy that we all believe in, and we teach that one philosophy. Right? And that's one of the reasons why for the last 2 years we've been running the intensive, because it's, for me, it is the process of mining the diamonds. Who are the people that can actually go on to become the next leaders, the next mentors, and grow the community and give that knowledge, transmit it? Because just by myself, individually, I cannot affect as many people. Because even if I spend 8 hours a day for every day for the rest of my life, there's only a finite number of people. So my goal is to identify these diamonds, get them good enough so that they can help other people. Right? And again, each one of the mentors, and I'm sure you've realized when you pick up the phone and talk to them, they care about you, right? They don't care. They're not in it for the money. They're not in it for the fame. They are in it because they care about all of us, right? And so that is also a critical component that we look for in our mentors so that we can kind of build this community. So the next part is a practice program, which will be primarily driven by the mentors and Saurabh. And to a certain extent, I will be the guest guy there. But the idea is to get people to practice so they get really competent for their first job. All right. And we also have a Trainer Central platform for all of you members. You guys already have access to certain components, certain classes. And one of the things I do want to say is towards the end, Roshni is going to send out a poll. So vote for the best classes that you liked. And the top 3 classes we will make available on Trainer Central so you can watch them at your leisure. Okay, let's go on to the next slide. Now, this one is where the practice program is, the intention for the practice program. Again, these are the 4 mentors that are going to be driving it. The goal is to get it personalized and focus on practice, be your ability to execute. Okay, and that's what the intention is. Let's go to the next slide. Now, this is the awesome news that I want to share with you. We've signed a deal with OP Jindal University. Now, this is a global university. And what is interesting is this university has been identified by the government of India as an Institute of Eminence. It is one of the only top 10 institutes in India that have been declared as such. Right? What that basically means is they have the freedom to create the curriculum that they think is necessary to train somebody. Right? Technically, they are not under the ambit of UGC. They are not under the ambit of AICTE, nothing, right? There's no, at least the government promises that you guys are so good that we are going to promise that you are no longer going to be under the guidance of or like under the supervision of a government agency. You can do what you believe is right to best create the best curriculum. And that is very important for us because we have now basically partnered with them in the next, probably somewhere around April or May is when we are going to launch the M.Des. And by the way, this is going to be the first program in the world that is focused on UX with a specialization in AI. And so this is very, very exciting because it's the first in the world. It's literally, there's no other school in the world, in the US, anywhere, that is focusing on UI with, that is focused on AI with a focus on UX. Right? So this is going to be where it is. And the other intention is this program is going to be supported by companies from day one. Right? So you're going to have from day one, professors and working professionals from those companies are coming in. So our intention is that these companies own the program. They own the talent. So the best people that come out of this program get picked up by the talent. So ultimately, that is the simplest game that we want to play there. Of course, the training and the selection process will be fairly rigorous. In order to make it global, we've made it online. So this is going to be launched. We are in the process of partnering with another partner. But it's going to be a globally available online program. But the top 5% of the class is going to be invited to learn with me personally on campus, where we learn and explore the concepts. And then it's for about 2 months of the year, the rest of the year, if the learning is happening online. All right. So this is where we are. And this is going to be the M.Des program is going to be announced and launched in May. So we are super excited about that. Let's go on to the next slide. Now, the next step that we've also realized is there are a lot of design professionals who are working even within our community. What we have realized is at some point, they want to be part of the community, but they don't attend the meetings and all that. And when we ask what's going on, they say, listen, I've reached a different part of my career. Where I am in my career, I need different kind of help. So the general help is not helping me. And this is where we are creating a 3-month program for people who want to become leaders within their organization. So let's go on to the next slide. So this is a UX leadership program for people who are individual contributors or managers who are looking to grow to become managers or senior managers within their organization. And it's a 3-month program for design leadership. Again, we're partnering with a top university. And again, I don't want to, I'm looking at universities around the world. For me, it's not just saying that, we want to partner with universities in India, because it's going to be a global ecosystem and peers should also be global in nature. And so we are, again, going to be partnering with a top university, and the intention is to create people who can build change into their companies. Whatever company they're working in, they bring change and they own the organization. All right. And so that is where we are looking at for people who want to become leaders. And this program is again going to be launched somewhere around June. And so stay tuned for the people. But this is something that we're excited about. And so with that, I think we can officially say that we are no longer in the experimental stage. For the last 2 years, for us at college, we've been playing in the experimental stage. We've been trying to see like how do you grow people, how do you grow talent, how do you figure out what to teach. And for all the people that have been in our intensive program, in many ways you are like our first children. Right? So what that basically means is you got 110% of our attention, but the downside also is you got 110% of our attention. So that means if you made a mistake, you were given classes left, right, and center, right? But what we have learned in the last 2 years is realizing and understanding, okay, what is our curriculum? How do we teach? How do we align it with the growth of the individual within the industry? And what knowledge should we give? So the idea is we no longer want to drown somebody in knowledge on day one. Right? And I'm sure if you talk to any of the intensive guys, they will tell you that it's very intense. It's very scary. There's so much knowledge that is coming in and all that stuff. Now, the intention is it's not about drowning people. It's about giving you only the knowledge that you need to get to the next step. Once you're there, then you need some other knowledge to get to the next step. Once you're there, you need some other knowledge. So it's attention is just-in-time knowledge and the guidance and the support to help you grow into the next level. And that's where we are going into in this year. And so I hope, there are programs, and it's not just hope, but I know that there are programs for all of you to access. And I would love your feedback and your thoughts in terms of, if you're doing anything right, if you want us to do something more, if you're doing something wrong, right? So I would love you guys to kind of look at this, give us feedback and tell us what we can do moving forward. Right. And that's why, Jasmine, I was waiting to do this because before we have our conversation, because Jasmine reached out to me and said, listen, there are all these problems here. And so you guys need to fix it. And I said, okay, send me a proposal and then I will make my announcement and then we can talk. And so this is what I was waiting for, Jasmine.
Great, sir. This is really, really impressing. And the fact that you say that, we are here to find diamonds and, not run behind numbers, which is so great to even be part of this community and really, really nice. Thank you, sir, for having and, instilling this kind of a feeling of gratitude within us. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Jasmine. And one of the things is I do want to say that the M.Des programs and the leadership programs will be expensive because the intention there is to get the best faculty, right? So the Udemy and the practice program and the mediums are on the cheaper side. So we are saying it's just focusing on the knowledge, okay, the basic knowledge. But when we want to get advanced knowledge, you have to find faculty that people, even stuff that I don't know, right? I mean, how if I get a head designer out of Netflix or somebody who's like a senior director out of Google, right? It's going to cost a lot of money to get those people in, right? And so that is where, we are basically saying that part where we have to spend the money, we have to spend the money, And the part where we don't have to spend the money, let's make it really accessible and let it be there so the knowledge is available for everyone. So that's where we are. So any thoughts, questions, ideas, anything else? Or I think we can probably end this week's session. Go ahead, Achyuth.
Nothing, so just a final thank you because after today's session, there's like until I guess for everybody for the next 10-15 years, college is there with us. And of course, for the next thing also that's like really, really inspiring. And thank you so much for everything that is being done.
Cool. Thank you, Achyuth.
Be a long
Thank
journey.
you all and have a great weekend. And again, we look forward to the new course. Oh, wait, Shiva is also there. Sorry, Shiva, go ahead.
Sir, I just want to know the M.Des program is only for the working professional or also for the graduates who just finished their graduation.
So ideally, we feel that people should work for at least 1 year in the industry.
Okay.
And again, the reason I say that is when I compare the US market with the Indian market. Okay, ultimately, we are all going to compete with each other. Okay, when I look in the US, the average person that gets into a master's program, an American, has at least 2 to 3 years of experience. Okay, and when I got into the program and I'm sitting in the class, I'm seeing that their way of approaching the problem is much more mature. The way they think about the problem is much more multifaceted. Right?
Got it.
So, for me, my primary audience is going to be people who've got at least 1 or 2 years of experience. Okay. However, if there are exceptional people with no experience, I'm happy to look at them. But the intention is that you want people, even if they're like maybe say, 20% of the people that are freshers, I don't have a problem because 80% of the people around them are going to teach the 20% what to expect in a work environment. Right? Otherwise, if everybody is fresh out of school and they're going to, the university, nobody knows. Everybody's making something up. Everybody's sitting down, smoking cigarettes, drinking chai at the cafeteria and all that. The intention is not to kind of go out and become really good. If you've kind of left your job, you work for 2 years, you know what you want to do. You want to be really good in that field. And so there's a difference in attitude and mindset, which is where my initial preference, my major preference is going to be for people with at least 1 or 2 years of experience. And a secondary, preference will be for exceptional people who have just graduated out of school, out of college. All right, cool. So, all right. That said, thank you very much, guys. This has been a great session. Gagan, you have feedback. Every time I say thank you, koi haath utha deta.
Just want to say congratulations on reaching this milestone. Yeah, I mean, I was thinking for a while, and then I might as well say it. So yeah, I think it's been I think great learning from even my side, and I think one of the things that I really enjoyed is the community. I mean, I've reached a stage where I got my own thing going, but I think after a certain point, you need a constant knowledge and it's just general knowledge of what's happening around in and around and all that kind of thing. So I think it's been quite a enriching journey in that sense, and also that you reached a great milestone. I wish you many more luck and success. So yeah, that's the what I wanted to put.
Thank you, Gagan. Thank you. So there is a wall of gratitude that we will share. How long is a wall of gratitude?
The video,
Yeah.
it's about 1 minute long.
Okay. If you guys, I know Roshni has worked really hard, so if you guys can wait for 1 more minute, I think it'd be great to kind of show. And if you have anything you want to post, and again, it's not about college, it's really about the community, the people that are there, and how everybody's helped everyone else. Go ahead, Roshni.
All right. So since we had a lot more stories than we could feature today inside the event, that was the intention for the wall. And I've had great help from the volunteers, Achyuth and Jasmine, in prepping this. So a huge shout out to them as well. So here goes. Sorry, going to recap. There's no music. It's just a slideshow. You share the link if there's more messages that you guys need to put up. Thank you so
Awesome.
much.
Thank you. So one other thing is we are today, I believe Saurabh here. When is the next class launching on Udemy?
By tomorrow, yes.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
So
already
tomorrow the
there.
next class
Yeah.
is, sorry?
It's already there. It's just in the review process. By tomorrow, it will be there.
Yeah, so the next class is going to be live. And if you guys want your invites, please reach out to Saurabh. And I think Rajiv has already set up this, but one thing I do want is I would love for you guys to look at it, review it, and give us your feedback so that we can keep improving it. And also, the star ratings and all that help, of course, get it visibility within the algorithm. So that's going to be helpful as well. So thank you very much, guys, and have a great rest of the week. Bye.
Thank you, Prasad.